2, 1.
Welcome everyone to the AMA call today with product management and engineering and UX and quality leaders on prioritization updates. This is the APAC friendly one. We had one yesterday as well. That was more EMEA friendly. I think the first question is with Greg Myers. Greg, do you want to get us started?
Sure. Thanks, Anoop. And thanks to Anoop, Christy, Christopher, Mech, Scott, Eric, everyone for making time for this. I really appreciate your transparency in what is fundamentally a few changes, a few line diff to our handbook. And I really appreciate you making time for this. To get things kicked off, what exactly do we mean when we say XMAO?
Yeah, thanks for asking the question, Greg. So X here is like star so it means all our monthly active users. As you know, we measure monthly active users on a group basis, stage basis, and then total monthly active users. So that's what it's referring to, all those monthly active usages that we measure. You have the next one as well, Greg.
Okay, so thanks for clarifying that. I knew what it meant. I just want to make sure we're all on the same page. Very good rundown. So my next point, I'm wondering if you think there would be value in measuring monthly active users at either the product level or the package level to help in similar efforts to optimize work for maximum results.
Yeah, so I do believe we measure SaaS and self-managed separately as well. And can you talk a little bit more about what you mean by the second part of the question?
Yeah, sure. Good point. So is in terms of packages, we offer self-managed customers. This would be most relevant to the installation method or the platform on which they run GitLab. It is delivered in essentially a different installer format. So we have, Omnibus, Docker images, Kubernetes with the Helm charts, and source installations as just some of the ways that people deploy or use GitLab. I was wondering if we are taking a look at those to see how we could maybe optimize results in that regard.
Yeah, so I'll see if Josh or anybody from enablement team is on the call.
Yeah.
Take this question.
Sure, I'm here. Yeah, absolutely. Thanks, Craig, for the question. We do keep track of the active instances. This is the various installation types, and we use that to help prioritize our investments on where we're focusing. So for example, we're tracking active installs of Omnibus versus Kubernetes and seeing if that has any kind of behavior change. We also use it to look at some of our marketplace offerings and see what kind of traction those are getting. So we absolutely do have that. We also have daily active users or 28-day rolling active users for all of our .com plans. I'll add some links into the document here, but we also track that. And I'm working on a dashboard where we can also hopefully do the same for self-managed. It's just a little harder for me to write the query, but I'll add some links and hopefully this will help give you some information. And of course, they're open to everyone. So yeah, everyone take a look.
Yeah, and I'll add that team members, each section has their own performance indicators that they're tracking. Even those are top level performance indicators, but underneath there are several more like the ones Josh mentioned. So yeah, if you feel like you want to find out something, chances are we are measuring it. And if we are not, it'll be good to know that as well. All right, I think the third one is with you as well, Greg.
Okay, last one, but thanks, Josh, for that great answer. I knew we were tracking this stuff some way, and I'm glad to hear that we are making an effort to track these dimensions of our product and package as well. So I guess last question is, and this is coming from in the past year, I did some work helping customers with getting features of GitLab, in particular the secure stage features, working offline or in an environment where internet connectivity could not be reliably or statically connected, non-internet connected environments. And so in thinking through how we manage our and measure the underutilized features, the things where basically we are not seeing enough usage to really justify spending a tremendous amount of overhead in maintaining these features. I'm wondering, how does some customer facing teams like support and sales, who we work with customers and we know that this customer, we're not getting usage ping from them. So it's kind of a shadow for their MAU. Do you have any ideas on how we could supplement the hard data or raw data with indicators or flags that might indicate we don't have the precise users for this customer, but we can still imply that they are using features like the offline capabilities?
Yeah, so before we go into the answer, I think the important point to state is that customers that are air gapped for certain reasons, and we want to respect their wishes on whether or not they want to choose to share their data with us. I think what you're therefore saying is, can we get a good, strong estimate, a meta estimate of how many customers there are, so we can come up with better estimates of our monthly active users? Is that a fair restatement of your question?
Yeah, and that's kind of what I've been thinking as well, is that if we could have some way to indicate customers where we're not getting the precise usage data, but it's for a specific network security policy or for any reason other than they have opted out of usage ping. Like usage ping is on, but it's blocked. If there'd be some sort of way we could represent them alongside the raw usage data.
Yeah, I think the answer I have, and others can add if you have more, we do have this estimated monthly active user. In fact, we changed the TMAU to be an estimated TMAU goal a couple of weeks ago. So, and there is also a methodology of how that estimate is working, which is on our GitLab website. Is it any good page? Last I checked. So there is a methodology. It's not robust. It's our first blush try at it. But I think, yeah, the more markers and signals we can get, I'm sure we can get better at that estimate.
I dropped a link to that definition there, and it's under G now. But I like your idea there, Greg. I can't remember who was talking about. I think it was Amanda and company are in thinking through ways to make it easier for customers who are offline to send us their usage data, recognizing it's aggregate. It's not really a privacy concern. Is there a way, either through their sales relationship or support relationship, that they could hand it off to us? So we would like to pave the way for customers who are offline to give us the data. I don't know how we're going to do it yet, but we want to get data from as many as possible. And for those that don't, where we never get it, we use this estimate calculation to make an assumption about what usage might be across the whole customer base, even though we're only getting usage data from a percentage of our base.
And I'll add that there is also a GitLab Plus initiative. There is an issue which you can check out. I'll put a link into the conversation as well. It's to see if we can provide some value to self-managed customers on the cloud. And with that value, hopefully they will be open to sharing a little bit more about what they're doing than they do today.
Thank you, Scott and Anu. I like the idea of facilitating customers in these restricted or lockdown environments, having some way that they could manually export and provide their data in a way that is in accordance with their security policies. Because time and time again, I find we have customers who technically they operate GitLab inside of an air gap or an offline environment, but at the same time, to update GitLab, you do need some level of internet connectivity. So I think there's a balance like between establishing a procedure in which they can export their data and get it to us in compliance with all of their security policies for those who need it. And I'd be happy to collaborate or have a meeting of the minds on how to move forward with that. I have some ideas there as well.
Thanks, Greg.
Don't we show currently in the GitLab interface what the usage ping payload is? Can people just copy paste that and send it to us? And then we just need to make an import field on the customers.gitlab.com or whatever receives that.
Yes, I believe so, Sid. And so might we be able to extend that function to send usage ping data too?
So I don't think we need to extend anything to send it. I think we only need to add the possibility to manually upload it.
Right, that's what I meant.
I love that idea. That is a boring solution in the best possible way. So thanks for that pitch. I think I was overthinking it a bit.
Thanks, Greg, for diving into this.
Right. I don't see any more questions. Josh, do you want to verbalize your comment?
I'm just riffing on the idea of maybe not even requiring people to even go to a website. You could just paste it into an email and send it over or something like that. I'm not, there's no authentication on the API endpoint, so I'm not sure how much security we need, as far as I know. Anyways, we can move on. I'm solutioning.
Okay. Any other questions?
Since this isn't Ask Me Anything, I'll ask everyone on this call. In the first AMA, there were a lot of questions around what this change actually means. And I think there was a misperception that we can't work on new features anymore, which is certainly not the case. So I wanted to ask, does anyone have questions about that? Does anyone need an explanation, or is what's already in the agenda from the last AMA sufficient?
All right, I don't hear any responses. I like the way you summarized that last time, Christy. So if you want to take 30 seconds and go over it, I think it's useful.
Yeah, absolutely. So the point is, historically, we've focused on breadth over depth, which was the right thing to do based on, I think, where we were with our product maturity at the time. But we're at a new place now. We're kind of at an inflection point where we have a lot of breadth. And what we are hearing from our users, you see it on Hacker News, we hear it in our user research, is that in some areas of the product, new features aren't the most important thing anymore. In some areas, other things are more important, like usability, bugs, technical debt. So what this change doesn't mean is that where it makes sense to add value for our customers, where they need new features, it doesn't mean that we can't give them new features. What it means is that we should be smarter about how we are looking at each stage group and what is going to add value in that area. So what this means is that product managers are still the DRIs for their stage groups. This frees them up to make sure that they can make the best decisions for our customers based on where we and they are in our journey today. And what we are hoping is that they're looking not just at their own little stage group, their own silo, but looking more broadly at usage across the product and making decisions that will help drive usage across the board. And if anyone has any questions about that, I'm happy to answer them, and I'm sure the other leaders are too.
Thanks, Christy. I've added an issue that shows all the signals that we got from sus scores and others that made us reach this conclusion. Right. I'm going to pause for 5-6 seconds to see if anybody has any other questions. All right. Thank you, everyone, for attending the AMA. We appreciate it. Take care.